Okay, so it is Monday night, March 15th, and we're going to be learning all about mindset from Belanie Dishong, which Jeremy Jack can tell you all about. So, Jeremy Jack, take it away.
Go get some rest, Amy. Okay, guys, welcome to our Monday night. It's not our mastermind. This is our workshop, our little workshop deal. So we usually have a guest, and tonight's guest is someone who is near and dear to my heart, and we're going to talk about the thing that is the thing of all things for anybody, but especially in our venue, we're talking about authors. We're really good at writing. We're really good at the things that we do. We're really good at accomplishing all the things that we're accomplishing until we're not. So wherever we get stuck in our process of getting our books out there has nothing more and nothing less to do with one thing and one thing only. There's something in the way. And that something in the way exists right here, right here. It exists inside of us. And so, how do we have a conversation around that that gets wherever we're limited in our process, and we may all be limited in different places or stuck in different places or blocked in different places in our writing process, wherever that is, how do we get this to get clear of that so that we can move forward and be the amazing, successful authors that we are? That is who we are. We're amazing, successful authors. And some of us are like James, um, small press, um, like Lydia and CJ, small press. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to exclude you, Athena, there too. And then the rest of us are authors. Some of us do small press. Some of us are independent authors, meaning we're publishing all on our own. So we all have different experiences of where we may or may not get stuck. So we have a lot of conversations about the thing that we're getting stuck on at that moment. Oh, gotcha, it's marketing, or it's that branding thing, or I'm procrastinating, or I'm blah, blah, blah. Those are all just the things. So what is going on in here that has that happen out there? And so well, you guys know that that lady who you can see on the screen right now, Sandy Lawrence, and myself, most of you know that we are also platinum certified coaches with Live a Choice. And even though we're not active coaches right now, both of us still utilize every aspect of this mindset system and program. So I am thrilled to avail you guys of that because it's been life changing, transformative for me, not just in this conversation called being an author, in every aspect of my life, because the mind affects every aspect of your life. So, without further ado, I want you to hear from the lady who changed it all for me in my mindset, because she changed it for herself. That's I could list a bunch of credentials for this woman, but the reality is she changed it for herself at one point in her life, and she applied that same system that changed her mindset around her life and created a program around it and has availed all of us of it, and it's transformative. So, Belanie Dishong, welcome and thank you for being here. You're on mute.
You're welcome. It's a pleasure to be here. Hey, Red, how are you doing? Oh my gosh, it's been a few years now since I've seen you.
More than a couple,
Good to
yeah.
see you again.
Likewise.
Yeah, I was looking at Yes You Can Do It, I
Yeah.
believe is the title. Is that right? Yes You Can? Yeah, I was looking at that today actually. So it was like, and so I thought, oh, and I'm going to see Red tonight. So great to see you again. And Annie Higby is active in one of our programs now. Julie looks really familiar to me, and even James. So I may have seen most of you. Hi, David. I don't know that I know you. If I've seen you somewhere, I apologize if I don't recall your face, which I usually always recall a face. So, but it's good to be with all of you tonight.
I don't know who I am either.
Hey, hey, David, listen. Lately, I'm not real sure who I am. I'm a lot of different things right now too. So it's really good to know that there's somebody else out there that sometimes doesn't know who they are either. But I'm excited to be with you guys tonight, and I look forward to just a really relaxing conversation. I'll stir you up before it's over, but really, I want to be. I don't want to talk to you about mindset. I think all of us pretty much have had enough exposure along the way and read things and done workshops and worked in self-help in some way or self-development at some point in time of our lives, that mindset is not a new word. The thing I do want to start off with is there's a huge difference in mindset from like becoming a really positive thinker or a really positive person. I really believe deep down that we're all pretty positive at the nature and the core of who we are. However, we circumstantially can cause us to sometimes show up not quite so positive thinking. But mindset is a real, here's what mindset does. It either takes you where you're going or it takes you where you don't want to go. And there's really not a whole lot of in between, because if you're headed somewhere, and all of you being authors, I'm anxious to hear from you in a bit about what you've written and what it's all about for you. But you know, if you've written a book, you had a place you wanted to go called authoring a book. And if you, regardless of what stage you're in at that point, that's a direction you're headed in. And your mindset is either going to take you to the success of that book being written, or it's going to take you to something other than that, period. And so we're guided through what we're doing and dictated in our directions by the mindset that we occupy with, or that occupies us, I guess you would say. And so, you know, I don't know if any of you have ever suffered from this thing called procrastination. As an example, we could all say, maybe from time to time, that we've procrastinated on something. The issue is not the procrastination. Procrastination is a result of a mindset. Mindset's the problem, not the procrastination. So it won't be occurring if the mindset is in alignment with where you're going. So one of the things I would like to do is I would like to go around. I show 9 people, not including me. Is that everybody? I don't have anybody on another page or anything. I think we've got everybody here. Okay, good. So I'd like to go around, and I want to know what you've written or where you are, what stage you're in. And I'd like to know, as you look at where you are, is there any place in anything that you're stuck yet? In other words, you're not progressing in that direction any longer. And so, or maybe you've been stuck in this part all along. So, it'll be an open dialogue, and I'll just go along in the way I've written you down. So in case anybody moves around on the screen, I can at least have you all, I won't skip somebody. So Lynn, I'm going to start with you. And if you'd be so kind as to visit with me, tell me what's your book, and where are you in the process of writing the book and getting the book in the marketplace. Is it Lynn or Lydia?
Lydia.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
I went, that says Lydia.
Yeah, no, it's all good. I am an author of children's books. I write for little ones, and I also write for sort of middle grade. I am coming to a different phase in my journey. For the last, seriously, for the last 5 years, I've taken care of my older parents, and they have now passed. And we lost our mom in January. So writing has had to take kind of a pause for a while. And so, you know, you're right about mindset, because I could get really overwhelmed with life right now if I allowed myself to do that. But, you know, I'm in the process of estate sales and selling a house and, you know, blah, 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 blah. So, you know, I just, you know, wake up every morning, say a prayer, say, all right, God, what are we going to get done today? and just I really try to focus on that one step at a time thing. Because honestly, if I don't, I will melt down into a big pile of jello.
So Lydia, in your writing of books, how many of you completed? How many of you
7.
7. Okay. And are you in the process of one right now?
Well, yes and no. It's been on hold.
Regardless to the situation where that's taken attention, and I get that. I have a husband dealing with cancer, so, or healing himself of cancer. So with that, I understand that it's very easy. It's not just easy, it's required, right? So I can understand that. So is there a book ready to be written or in some phase?
Yes, that is, it's in process right now.
It's
just
process.
on pause.
Okay. Okay, great. I got it. So be thinking about this question, because this is a question I'm going to want everybody to answer, but I'm going to get everybody's basic information first. So the question that you're going to answer after I go through and get who you are and where you are, the question is, what's the current problem? Okay, that's all I want you to be able to answer. What's the current problem? Okay, but I'm going to come back to that so everybody can think about that. So Annie Higby, hello, darling.
Hello, hello.
I know all about your book.
So what should I answer?
Is this, well, they don't. So, and let's just play like we don't know each other, okay? For this process today. Is this your first time on the
Yes.
group?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, great. Well, I knew you were going because I referred you over there to Sandy, and I'm excited you're in the group. So, so say your book.
Okay. So the title of the book is called The Hummingbird and the Narwhal. It's about 2 unlikely creatures, one from the upper world and one from the lower world, with similar shapes. And they find each other on the horizon, and they basically become best friends, and they help each other out. So the book is about, it's got 2 levels, you know, just that part. Then the other level is about like magic and connection and kindness and how we're all in it together.
Awesome. So the book is in what stage at this point would you tell us?
So I think it like, as far as I'm concerned, like, and I always have like doubts about it, you know. I was like, one day I'm like, oh, this is awesome. Next day I'm like, I don't think it's so great, you know. Like I have like continual like self-doubt about it. Okay. And then I have like, I gotta edit it more. I gotta, you know, and then I'm like in the place of unknown, right? So the whole process of doing the book for me has been about facing the unknown. You know, I don't know how to do it. I think I'd rather just leave this to next lifetime.
Yeah, right. That really exciting chatter that really wants you to stop.
And then really actually doing it is like, wow.
Right.
I think somebody else is talking, you know, but and I'm grateful. So, you know, I'm moved by the book, and I get like fits and starts, like, you know, like what Lydia was saying, kind of like, you know, you get distracted by something and not focused, but then that brings you an idea and then you come back. So it's like, yeah. So I come back to the book when I get a little bit rounder view. Okay. And then it's also hard to just face the unknown of like, I don't know where to go from here, you know, like, which is why I talked to Sandy, like, do I publish it? I don't know what to do, you know? So it's kind of like
where you really are, I would say, is now you're in the best direction to take the book to market from which is the best direction to go. So, so very good. All right. Thank you much. And be thinking, what's the problem? Okay. And David.
Hello.
Hello.
I work on my current series is young adult dark high fantasy. I've published my first book. Well, James helped me publish my first book in October of last year, and I'm mostly done with book 2. And I had yesterday while I was in the shower, I got an idea for like a big part of the story arc for book 3.
Yeah.
And it was one of those rare occasions where I actually had remembered it long enough to get back to my computer and write a couple paragraphs to summarize it, because I wasn't going to sit down and write 4 chapters right out of the shower.
Right. So you are in book 2?
I am in book 2. I don't write as often as I would like to. I work. There's been some family issues lately, so usually I'm lucky if I get a page in or so in a day. But I just continue to plug away at it.
Okay. All right. Have you identified a problem?
Yeah, I and a big, well, there's a few things. The main one is the current family issues, with some illness in the family that it's requiring more of my attention. But a lot of it is I just allow myself to get distracted, and I don't focus on my work as much as I would like to.
Very good. All right. Thank you much. And help me. Athena. I'm going to really screw up
Athena.
your name, and I don't want to do that.
Hello, it's
Hello.
Athena.
I'm sorry.
Athena.
Athena. Oh, that's really easy for me to remember now. Thank you very much, Athena. Welcome. So tell me about your book.
Okay, so I have 2
Mhm.
works in progress at the moment. One is in the editing stages, and the other one is almost completed. And I don't have a problem with sitting down to write. That's never been a problem for me. So I'm fine with that. My actual problem is that I'm having a mind shift. And my mind shift is that I'm moving from one genre to another. And that is, some people think that it's easy to just swap over and you're fine with it, but it doesn't work like that, because each genre's got a lot of specifics. So when you write in one specific genre, you kind of don't really notice what goes into a different genre. And so when you swap over to that, you realize that there are new things that you need to learn. You need to adapt and evolve to change over.
Let me ask you a question. Are you switching genre in this from the first book to the second book? Is that the switch of genre?
No. So,
okay, so you have another book.
Yes.
Or another direction you're headed with your writing.
Yes.
To another genre.
Yes.
Could I ask you? I want to ask you a question. So you've written 2 books total? 4 total.
Yes.
Okay.
I like romance.
Oh, good.
That's what I've written up to now. But now my mind is shifting.
Okay.
So I'm changing from romance to something else. And I realize that I'm adapting differently, that different things have to happen, the way I think, the way I process the writing techniques and things like that.
Yeah, so there's a question I want to ask you. What did you do before you wrote books?
Well, I'm an editor as well, and I was a teacher.
You were a teacher, and then you became an editor.
Yes.
Okay. There's just a little bit of a question I have about the genre shift in a start in, like you start maybe, so I was looking at history with you around what you do, because oftentimes we'll just shift over to something else because something caused us to make the shift, other than, oh, I'm really interested in doing that. To give you an example, One of my clients one time, when she hired me, she was an RN in the hospital, and she said, I want to leave the hospital and I want to have my own business as a registered nurse. And I said, so great. So what's happening? And she says, well, you know, I get started and I'm going and I'm doing really, really good. And then all of a sudden I go, oh, I could do this too. And then I would change over and I'd do that. And then I go, oh, then I could do that. I've got this great idea over here. She says, can you help me with that? And I said, yes. And do you really want out of the hospital? And she said, yes. And I said, okay, great. And in 12 months, she had a business that was so viable that she literally, her husband sold his business, went to work for her. Her son went to college, came out and went to work for her. And now it's a national company. And so, and that was a mindset issue, because once we could find out for her what was causing her to make that shift. So in the 4 books you have written previously, they've all been in the romance area,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
Okay. And you have one that's not complete in the romance area, correct?
Yes.
And you're shifting genres.
Yep.
Okay.
So
Very good. Not good, bad, or wrong. That's not my point. Not good, bad, or wrong.
yeah.
Just a question that I started, like, what's going on here? Maybe, right? What's going on in that one book? Don't know yet. Just a thought. Thank you. Red.
Good to see you again.
Good to see you again.
My first couple books were in the self-improvement motivation deal. My wife came down with breast cancer. I started being a caregiver and started doing research on health and wellness. And I shifted over about 5 years ago to writing books on health and wellness. And I've been specializing my last 2 books on longevity. That's really where a lot of the stuff I write. I write every day. I publish every day on social media. My website, I think 440 days in a row I have not missed. So my writing is there. And I have one book I wrote the last couple of months about, with my publishing business, when a client is, when I can align with the clients, when their book is done, when it's edited, proofed, and ready to go, that's when I have a viable client. But sometimes I talk to a lot of clients and they're not there. And I wrote a book to give them the perspective of the mindset from the beginning, what they should consider, all the way up to being hiring a publisher or doing it themselves, and then marketing the book afterwards. So that book is sitting right now. My wife is proofing it, and it'll probably be done by the end of this month. And so that book is done. I have another book on heart health that I've been floundering on for a while. I had a passion for it a while back, and then I had some heart issues at Christmas that reinforced my need to get that book written. So that's kind of what I have going on right now.
So, and I'll come, Lydia had to run, but Andy, I'll come back to you. We're kind of getting into the problems as we go along here a little bit now, and I'll be back with you, David. But Red, are you stopped?
No, actually, I got 4 clients right now I'm publishing 7 books for. And so my time is of the essence. That is just right this minute, when I have time to spend, I spend it either on the phone with the client or actually doing some stuff for them. And when I'm not doing that, my number one priority is to get my blog out every day, which I do.
Okay, so you don't have a problem you're having to address right now.
No, my problem is the number of hours in a day.
Yeah, well, I know that one too. I think we all probably know that one pretty well, right? Okay, very good. So, well, hang in here and maybe pick up something with everybody else that I'm working with too. So thank you.
Absolutely, I look forward to it.
You bet. James.
Well, okay.
How are you?
Yep. Not really, but I have an interesting story. Okay, so I write in different genres too. So I write adult fiction, crime stories, fantasies, and sci-fi. And I was working on my fantasy series because I thought I wanted to finish that one. It had 3 books. I had one published. I published one. I had the second one almost complete, and I was working on the third one because I did it for NaNoWrite mode. So as I got into writing the third book and working through the third book, I kind of like hit a brick wall. And the brick wall wasn't that I couldn't finish the book. I was going down a bunch of rabbit holes, and I was like, this is just going to take me way, way, way out of where I want to be. And I had to figure out how to shorten the story and how to get it to coalesce. But in the meantime, I kept having the idea that I needed to go back and finish my crime stories. That's a 4-book series. I got 2 published, and I have the last 2 written, partially written. And no matter how much I thought about the other story, the fantasy story, I kept thinking more about the crime stories and about getting those books written and visualize book covers and things like that. So I decided, you know what, I better write the crime stories and get them out, because at least the third book out, because it was just sitting on my mind so much. So I went back to doing that one, and I finished that one this weekend. So I finally got it completely knocked out, as I would say, completely knocked out with me. I'll probably have to do some more editing. Tina's my editor, so I gave it to her, divorced myself from it. It's like 80 something thousand words. And I said, okay, it's done. I gave it to her. I went back and wrote some more stuff in it and gave it back to her again today. So I'm pretty much done with book 3 on the crime series. So I'm like, okay, fine. I got that out the way.
How
And
many books have you written totally?
I got 4 published, 2 in the crime series, 1 in the fantasy, and 1 in sci-fi. And I really want to get back to writing sci-fi, but I got to get these other things out the way. So I now have 3 more books to finish that are in various stages of being written. They're halfway written, I would say.
Have you got them to market? Are you
Um,
making any money? Are you selling books?
Very little, not a whole lot, but the 4 that I have are in the marketplace already. But like I said, I'm a publisher, so I published my own, and then I started publishing other people. So since COVID hit, David, since COVID hit, we really threw ourselves into working with our other authors, because we have 6, 7, 8 authors that would lined up, and we said, you know what, we need to work on these guys. And so I said, and I can't work on other people's material and my own. I'm
Right.
kind of like a one-track type person. I can do
So-
multiple books,
so-
but I can't do them at the same time. Yeah.
Well, correct. Okay, I get that. I can certainly get that. So as you're thinking about the problem, I want all of you, I want you to look at this question I'm going to ask you right now as I keep going through. The question is, this other question is, what was your initial dream?
You want to know what my initial dream was?
Yeah, tell me that.
To write sci-fi novels.
To write sci-fi novels.
Yes, to write sci-fi. That was my initial dream. And so far I wrote 1 sci-fi. And then I wrote a bunch of other stuff. So
Yeah. So what?
oh, there you go. You're back. Okay.
You're gonna have
What
to
was
repeat
that?
that, Belle. You cut out.
Oh, I said, so why aren't you writing sci-fi?
Because I came up with all kinds of other ideas. Well, the sci-fi was the first one I wanted to write, but then I also had this idea to write this crime series. And
got
I
it.
knew 4 stories.
Now
So,
listen, I want to show you what your mindset's doing for you.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how many sci-fis have you written? 1?
I wrote 1 full novel of a sci-fi.
Okay.
And I got
it's
a bunch of
published?
short stories. I published it, yeah.
Published. And is it in the market? Are you selling it?
Yes.
How many have you sold?
I don't know, not many.
Okay. You guys, if you had a dream to write a book, or if you had a dream to author a book, or if you had a dream to write a series of books, that's the dream. And now you're in business. You're an entrepreneur. You didn't have a dream to be an entrepreneur. You had a dream to be a writer. So you have to engage a new dream.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Unless you just
Dream
want a
is-
lot of printed books. Unless you just want a lot of printed books. See, to give you an example, I personally never have had a dream to write a book. I've written 4, some are workbooks. I wrote an entire course program. I have journals I've written. I mean, I have an international bestseller. I never had a dream to write a book. I had a dream to do what I'm doing that makes a difference. That's just what my dream was, is to work to help people to get their dreams out of their lives, right? Entrepreneurs to make more money right now. You guys, it's great. You can write memoirs, you can write, and some of you have written memoirs, but they're still sellable. The issue that I want, and I'm paying attention to the time because we got started so late, but the issue is you had a dream to write books. Something's waylaying you, James. Something is distracting you from writing sci-fi. Finding out what that is, because you went in to write sci-fi. Now it's, oh, I could write this. And does it remind you of the woman I told you about that was the nurse? It matters not what you're doing. It's what's your mind doing to you in the process. And how do we solve that? And it may be that you would rather write other books, but you're not delivering on the dream. So that's the piece we want to be able to break.
But see, I never really seen myself as just sci-fi writer. You know, I always saw myself as being writing in different genres. That's why I jump from one thing to the next. So I write some here, I write some here, I write some. I just haven't got back to the sci-fi because I came up with these other ideas, and they turned out to be series. Well, the first one was, I knew it was going to be a series, 4-part series.
Right. Okay.
Fantasy, I really didn't expect it to be a 4-part series, and I did NaNoWrite mode, and I just wanted to write something that was completely different because it's a completely different way of writing. So I did the fantasy because I never wrote fantasy. I wanted to, but I never wrote a fantasy. And I figured, if I'm going to do something completely different, let me do something different. And then it turned out to be a 3-book series.
Right.
So
yeah, so I'm not knocking that. I'm just saying to you that, so you have a dream to be an author.
Right. That's probably
Is
better
that the
way
more
to put
accurate
it.
statement? Okay, so you have a dream to be an author. And the question becomes, how are you doing as an entrepreneur?
Right. That part, not well.
That's the part that's where the mindset's getting in the way. The mindset's getting in the way because you don't have a desire or a dream to become an entrepreneur. And so, and the chatter, I would bank, the chatter that goes on up here is not around you writing. Sounds to me like you write, right? You enjoy writing. It's about, it's a stop point on the marketing and the selling of your books. And that's the critical piece. If it is that you ever want to make any money, instead of, you can write books and forever, but do you want to make money out of it?
Right. Right.
Do you want, or
Yeah.
And then there's just another thing that I do want to say is branding. Who are you branding? Who are you branding yourself as an author?
See, that's the thing. Branding is kind of hard if you're going to jump genres all the time.
Hello.
I knew that going in.
So here's so here's the deal. Whether it's in the coaching business like I'm in, or whether it's as an author or a singer or a dancer, you have to get branded somewhere first, established. Oh, James, he does that sci-fi writing, and once you have scooped up the attention out there as a particular type of an author, once you've scooped them up, then they're wide open for anything. You have my business coach told me one time in my genre of work, she said, then you have earned the right to throw anything out there that you want to throw out. You will have earned the right to do all kinds of genre.
Well, that's why I tell my authors, work in your field and get known.
And
You got to
yet
get
you're
more than
not
one
doing
book.
it.
You got to, keep producing.
Yeah, but yet you're not doing it, James.
Well, no, and yes, I do it, but I just do it on multiple things. And I also give myself different names. I write on the James L. Hill for science fiction and fantasy, and J. L. Hill for the adult crime novels. So I try to separate them into two different categories, at least that far, and try to build on both sides. I know.
Yeah, so by the way, listen, I just think you guys are the greatest in the world. I mean, listen, hats off to you. Like I said, I wrote a book because I needed a good calling card. I wrote books because I needed them in order to deliver the kind of work that I do. So I wrote books for very different reasons, right? And so it's the opposite. I had to learn how to write because I'm not a writer. And I had to overcome the mindset of writers are. And I'm going to tell you all, you can write books all day long, but if you're not selling them, you're an author, but you're not a published author with a selling background. And that's where you want to get. And your mindset is interrupting you. How many of you are selling your books big time? Raise your hand. Big time, selling your books. Okay, so the only thing between that and selling books is you. And if, have you ever heard these words in your head? I'm trying everything I can. I've done it all. I've tried it all, but it just doesn't work for me. Who could say that? Okay, very good. So here's the deal. It will work for you. It will work for you when you get your mindset straight. When your mindset is straight, it will work for you. Insanely crazy, awesome stuff will come your direction. You'll go, wow, and it'll just show, and it will show up, and you will sell your books. James, thank you. You were great to visit with. Great to visit with. You're welcome. All of you. Julie, hi. Have we met, Julie?
Not that I know of, but you're not here in Houston, are you?
I am.
You are, then maybe, probably, at some time or another. So my story is, I retired after a long and difficult and rewarding career and went back to what I originally wanted to be, which was a writer. So that's what I wanted to do. But along the way to writing, I decided from everything I'd learned and heard, it would be better to self-publish given my age. And so I went into that. Now, I thought I could do this all as kind of a half-time business, but it's like a 60-hour business at this point. I work Saturdays and Sundays and everything else. And my first book was a travel book on the Camino de Santiago, and I planned for my second book to be on the Camino. So I had picked my genre is really travel writing, and that's what I wanted to do. But COVID came along. I can't travel. I can't go where I need to go to be able to write my book. So I published my second book as a children's book because I had a manuscript already that I could use and do it fast, and it's out there. And I hope maybe at the end of this year or next year, I can go back to doing my next travel book. Problem, I would say my biggest problem is it's very difficult for me to say no. People ask me to do a lot of things and I say yes. And when I say yes, I don't do a half-assed job. I'm always a perfectionist. So I go above and beyond in doing whatever it is. And I continually try to get rid of things, like I'm leaving the presidency of a women's university organization I've been heading. I'm finishing up May 22nd. But they'll still come back to me, and I know they will, for help, and I'll still give it. And that just goes on and on. I'm just involved in a lot of different things and areas.
You
And it's
can be
hard.
involved and still be, you can be involved and still be successful at what you're doing. I mean, you,
Well, not so far. I mean, it did not help that I published my first book in December of 2019. And by March, everything was shut down. I can't go out and promote it in person. You know, I have done Zoom talks, but it's not the same as being there and signing your book and having instant sales.
Julie, we've got some really good work to do on your mindset. I'm serious. I'm going to tell you that in the community at Live at Choice, there's various levels of participation in our programs. But I'll just tell you this, and I mean, honestly, and I've got 2 people on here who can vouch for the truth about this. But our, pardon me, our advanced group at year end, coming through COVID, like everyone came through COVID, and the majority of our participants are entrepreneurs in our program. And every single one of them did more business in 20 than they did in 19.
Oh, I can say that. But starting from zero, you don't have to go far to do more.
Well, no, I mean, but these are entrepreneurs that have been in business and have been, you know, really successful businesses. And so my point is that, yes, we had COVID. We still have COVID. Yes. And we still have people in lockdown. We still have all of that. But whatever your mindset is going to determine your success or your stagnant or your failure, period. You can get all of the training. Sandy has, I'm sure, done a phenomenal job. And I know Amy is doing an incredible job with you guys. And you can get all the training and you can learn all the stuff that you need to learn for the action that you need to take. But if you're not succeeding, it's a mindset issue. You cannot, I'll give you an example. My husband has been, since last October, actually, the end of October, has been dealing with throat cancer. Tomorrow is his last treatment of radiation, and his chemotherapy just ended at the end of last week. My husband's mindset has shifted exactly how he has turned out in these treatments. And his doctor is amazed at what he is able to do and how he's able to function. And he is in a lot of physical pain. Radiation in the throat is not fun. I'm telling you, he went into it with this: all things work out in my favor. You guys, if you have to have that mindset to be a successful entrepreneur, and you are in business, if you are intending to sell books, you are in business, you are an entrepreneur. And his whole mindset is all things work out in my favor. And he stands strong in that. And he says, I will experience this process as if I would experience anything in life, and I will come through it. And there's a man that's identical, running parallel with him, has exactly the same cancer, going exactly the same treatment, and he stopped eating 4 weeks ago and has lost 30 some odd pounds. My husband has not. He's eating every single 3 meals a day plus. It's in your mindset to deal with. It's in your mindset. I promise you, Julie, that you could be selling books big time. But you got to get your mindset, all of you, you got to get your mindset behind it. Absolutely. So, yes, I hear you. Those things are facts. Yes, it's facts that you have sick people in your family. Yes, it's facts that you can't say no and you're distracted over into another direction. It's a fact that you get scared and get stopped and you don't know what to do. It's a fact. But the reasons you're giving yourself are not facts. Something else is the facts that's really happening for you. And when you see what that is and you can discover what that is, then it's handled and books sell and you do the next one and you become whatever it is you dream to become. But you have to get aligned with being in the book selling business, because over here you're the author and over here in the entrepreneur, you're in the book selling business. And so to find out what stops you from being that is the key. And then you're free to be in the book selling business and to write or to hire somebody to sell your books. But bottom line, if they're not selling, then you're a writer who prints books.
Well, I would say that's why I'm in this book, in this group, which was supposed to be helping with marketing. And I've been in this group. Everybody's been in this group except for our new person for more than a year.
Yeah.
And, you know.
So the question is not just, I haven't sat through your marketing piece, but are you taking the action in the marketing? Are you doing what you're being trained? And by the way, this is not, I'm just telling you, this is an age-old problem for any genre of work. Is like we get the training, we get the direction, we get the strategy and the marketing behind it. But are you able to take the actions? Are you distracted?
So I don't want to sound defensive, but I put out a Newsweek every week without fail for more than a year. I do social media, 5 different social media posts every week without missing a week for more than a year. You know, I'm doing the marketing. I'm speaking to a group at Rice University on the 22nd. Yay. I don't know, a big group. And it'll be the second big speech I've given. I'm doing the things, but you know, as far as big sales, no, it doesn't convert into big sales, not yet.
Okay, so what if you guys, you listen to this real close because you heard what she said, and I believe you, Julie. I believe you. But what if you had a shift in your mindset that says, everything I do turns into book sales? What would that be like?
I guess I'd have to give up my son, but since he's giving me up and leaving on Monday, maybe that'll be work. He's joining the military.
No, so I just ask you if you had a mindset shift, you guys, if you had a mindset shift that said, that you could believe, that said, everything I do turns into book sales. Because listen to me. What you're saying is everything I touch doesn't turn into book sales. You guys, I'm using Julie right now to show you guys the difference in mindset. So imagine that just that shift literally produced sales. It does. Every day, every day, every day. You see this gong over here I have? You see that gong over there on that table?
Yep.
That gong is there because I ring it every time I close this deal. Everything in this room, in my office, is all there as support to a mindset that everything turns into sales. Everything turns into sales. Why? because what I have to offer people, I would be doing an injustice if I didn't offer it. And you have to have that very same mindset supporting what you've written in your books. Your books are written from your heart. Whether they're fiction or nonfiction, it matters not. Whether it's training, whether it's health, matters not. Nobody on this earth could write the book you've written. That's how special your books are. Nobody else could write the book you've got and the books you've written. You guys are not out here to write a book and call it over. And I haven't talked to, is it Vola? I haven't spoken to her yet, but I'm including her in this conversation that you didn't come out here. You guys didn't come out here just to write a book. I wrote a book for a calling card because I functioned from a different direction. Your mindset, you got to quit looking at the circumstances. The first big course that we do is called Beyond Circumstances. You got to quit looking at the circumstances. The fact that if you guys had never sold a book, ever, if you've never sold a book, has nothing to do with selling books tomorrow. Has nothing to do with it except what goes in here about it. And when you get clear in here that what you've written, everybody that likes that kind of book should have it in their hand. That it's going to make some difference. It's an entertainment. Some of your books are for entertainment, some are for love, some are for health, some are for well-being. I mean, it's like your books are critically important out there. But you're not aligned with that. You hope so. You hope people will buy it. But just a shift presents a totally different presentation and a totally different energy that you will emit around your books. So that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about you individually. I'm talking about what I know about people and what I know about mindset and what I know about what it takes. So Julie, it doesn't matter how many thousands of times you've sent out, it'll shift when you shift. You have to shift. You're the one that has to say, you know what, this newsletter that I'm putting out makes a difference, and it creates action, and it creates people getting to know me and wanting to buy. And when I walk into, did you say Rice? Yeah, when I walk into Rice University, did you say it's next week?
22nd.
Yeah, when I walk into Rice University on the 22nd to speak, people are going to be excited to meet me in the back of the room and have me sign a book for them.
It's a Zoom.
Okay, good. What's that got to do with anything? This is a Zoom.
There's no back of the room for me to sign the book and sell it.
Oh, yes, there is. You purchase it, you're going to get a signed copy. I'm happy to get that out to you today. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. It is. I'm talking to you right here. I'm talking to you right here. This is your room. See yourself as this room is just as important as any room. It's the only room we've got. There's a coach. There's a coach that had 140 people show up in an event 60 days ago. Booked $1.5 million on stage on Zoom. The only thing between you and success is you. All of you. And I'm not fussing at you. I'm just telling you there's an opportunity here, you guys, for you to sell books. And it doesn't come from the things that you have to do the things that you're being trained and taught to do. You have to do them. But there's two things. Are you taking the action or not? And the other is what's your mindset about the action you're about to take? If you're not taking the action, we got to find out why. In the mindset, it doesn't mean anything's wrong with you. It just means there's something that's keeping you from getting it done. And if you are doing it and you're not producing, then there's something causing you to not produce. And the steps you're taking, it's really simple. It's really simple. Julie, great to talk to you. Lola. Hi, lady.
Hi, Belanie. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing good. I'm totally in a different direction. I'm not an author. I don't have any aspiration to being an author, but I work with authors.
Oh, great.
I'm more of a support group. I'm Amy's mother. So
All
we have
right.
the books right there. And I do this, the social media, the research, the support consistently. And that's what my main thing is. And that's how I know you too, through Sandy and Amy.
Okay, great. So you help authors with their social media?
Yes, with their research and their social media.
Okay, well, awesome. Well,
So
very good.
Yeah, I don't have that author mindset or anything. I just, I look to see what I can do, to help out on, to help them be consistent, to promote themselves.
Right. Yeah, I got it. Awesome. Very good. Well, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Nice
Your
meeting you.
daughter is just incredible. Just absolutely incredible.
Thank you.
All right. Very good. Thank you. Mr. Jack,
Ma'am.
what's the problem?
So, what's the problem?
What's
My book is Planet Bound. So my book is a game. My game is a book, and it releases May 4th. I couldn't be happier. It's going swimmingly. It's been an amazing year because it went on pre-sales on May 4th, which is Star Wars Day. It went on pre-sales May 4th, and now it's being released on May 4th. So I'm amazing. And I didn't intend for it to take a year, and it's been amazingly perfect that it has, because there was things to see in that year. That's what's so amazing about mindset work to me, is the opportunity to see things even in experiences that I would have wanted to be otherwise, intended to be otherwise, to be able to see what the amazing possibilities are in all the things that show up.
Yeah, it's all so I stand very strongly in everything is perfection.
Yeah.
And when things slow up, there's an opportunity there. Look for what the opportunity is and around it. So very
Yeah,
good.
I see it that way because of
I'm excited for Planet Bound.
I am too. I'm thrilled. The problem, if I were to identify any problem, is that there's a lot of finite little tiny finite things and they all take the attention that they take, and making sure that those little T's are crossed and those little I's are dotted doesn't make me nuts or anything. However, I'm very aware of it. Today was a big example of that, where something beautifully, thank goodness, became very clear that I missed. It wasn't really a miss, but I was working on something that wasn't the thing to work on. I was working on a completely different draft than I should have been, and not there was this draft to work on, and then this is what I was working on, and I realized it and went, oh my goodness. So then what was amazing that I'll say about the work that we do is that could have thrown me into the worst horror of a day. I mean, that is a significant amount of work. And so I created my experience, meaning I chose my experience. You talked about how Doug does for his cancer. I did a similar type process as that for people who don't know the nomenclature. I did something like what Doug did around his cancer, around how my experience of this thing that I just realized I did was. And so once I got clear on what that was and was in the experience that I chose, I just did what's next, and it was handled. And it took a couple hours more of the time, and nobody died. So yay. Yay for mindset. Because boy, I mean, otherwise this thing that has taken a year could have taken me 10 years or more.
Yeah. So one of the things I want to recommend to you, Jeremy, so it's like It's like when you're taking on a really big project of cleaning out a closet
Yeah,
or a whole room.
that's a great
And
comparison.
so it's like you got it all upside down and everything is strung out everywhere. And then all of a sudden, it's like you got it 90% done.
Yeah.
Or maybe 95% done. And then all of a sudden there's all these little pieces that have to be
Little tiny.
finished up.
Yep.
So my recommendation, the thing, because it's for me, it's like I don't want to, this may never get done, right? So what I immediately do when I feel that rise up on me is I sit down, okay, make a list, and I'll make a list really quick of what's there. And then I would just focus on one. That's it. Focus on one, focus on one. So
you've hit it dead on.
you have to
That is
break it
exactly.
down. You have to break it
So
down.
breaking it down into those pieces has been crucial. This is nomenclature around this work, but you guys, this work is incredible in this way. There's a formula that we use in this work, and I just built a formula around that specific thing that you're talking about and got it real broken down into these little actions in that formula, and it's just been one thing off the list, one thing off the list.
Yeah, it's perfect. So just a reminder for you to break it down. I need to check back. Lydia had to run.
Yeah, so what I want you to know is I did shoot Lydia a message and I said, come Friday with your problem. What I want you guys to know is, Belanie, will you be able to come Friday? We're happy to have you back. Friday we do our mastermind. It's at 11:30 Central.
Hold on just a minute. I need to look here because Friday is the 19th. It's at what time again?
11:30 Central.
And how long is it for?
It's another hour. And
Yeah,
so
I
it's
think-
for us to, okay, great. That would be awesome because it's for us to discuss what we discussed tonight. So we will talk amongst ourselves about mindset. But if you are able to be there to facilitate that, that's awesome. Lydia can bring her problem that way.
So it's 11:30 a.m.
11:30 a.m.
Okay, for 1 hour. Yeah, I can. Very good. So I do need to touch back with everybody. I need to touch back really quick with David and with Annie. Athena, I don't believe I asked you the problem. So, or you did, you covered your problem. We talked about it. Okay, very good. Or at least got the problem. Annie, real quick, problem?
My problem is just like never done this before and like kind of, timid.
Narwhal out of water.
And then I have doubts, but and I'm just, it's scary, so then I'm like full force ahead, then and then I'm like, I'll hide under a rock, like that.
Yeah, and fortunately, you get the coaching that's necessary there, right? In the mindset, which keeps moving you along, and you are progressing very well in the book. And the thing that I want to say is one of the biggest problems you had is you didn't know where to go from here, not in the book writing itself, but it's like where to go from here to get this book finished and how do I publish it and blah, blah, blah. And you took the action by calling a couple of people that I gave you, and here you are. So. Yeah. Very good. I don't see you in a problem.
Thank you.
I see you addressing the things that you were getting stuck on. So that's how I see that at this point. Thank you much. Thank you much. And by the way, you haven't sent me the last.
I know.
Okay. All right. The last edit. Yeah. David, the problem.
There's just a lot of things swirling around in my life, and it's hard for me to focus on. Well, there's a couple things that I need to focus on, and everything else is, I get to what I can get to. And I know some of it is, I need to put myself out there more to, for doing my own public relations, and it's not something I'm particularly adept at. I have issues about self-promoting myself because I just don't have that kind of ego.
Oh, listen to you. You're so cute. So listen, it's not ego, it's confidence. So
it's hard for me to tell the difference sometimes.
No, I know. And that's what's really great about mindset work. So I'm going to come back on Friday. We're going to do, spend another hour and we'll start talking a little bit more. If you guys will have me back, if you want me back, I'd be happy to come back on Friday and take it in another depth. One of the things that I want to offer you is I have a half-day workshop that's online that is the 31st of March, and it's going to be from 10 to 1, 10, 11, 10, 11, 12. I think that's right. I think 10 to 1. It does start at 10, that I know for sure. It's 4 hours, so it'd be 10 to 2. And you can access that. It's $197, and we're working on deliberate change to mindset for entrepreneurs only. There's not going to be any non-entrepreneurs in there. And if you choose to sign up for it, I will give you $100 discount. So I'll give you a promo code. So I'm going to type that promo code into the chat really quick. You access it by going to creating mindsets. Creating Mindsets for Success. I have a couple courses that get me backed up on the name. Creating Mindsets for Success.com. And the code is typing it in. So it's 197, so it drops it to 97 with that code that I just put in. What we will do in that 4 hours together is we will take your specific problem, David, your specific thing about confidence or ego, whichever. Confidence is when you can just step into it. It's not something you gain or get. It's something you create from the inside out. So I would be working with you in that session to begin to help you create that experience of yourself, because it's there. But what we hear on the other side is, oh yeah, all those people do that have these big egos. That's just one slight version of what the survivor in our brain will tell us when we're not comfortable. It'll give us chatter that's not accurate about ourselves, but it will keep us shut down. And so that's what we would be doing, is learning how to do creation statements. Where when you get ready to show up for speaking anywhere, like Rice, where Julie's going to go, is that she can, before she goes in, she completely decides how the outcome's going to be. I'm going to teach you how to do that, how to determine the outcome before you ever walk in the door. So it's a great workshop. It's an incredible time together. And we just take that whole mindset piece and pump it up to the kind of thinking that is necessary for you to learn to believe in, so that you become a selling author, a bestseller author, a real bestseller by selling them, right? So that's what we're going to be doing on the 31st. And you can sign up there for that course if that's something you'd like to do. I'd love to have you. And we will otherwise see you on Friday of this week at 11:30. So thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure meeting you. And I'm anxious. Hey, I like books. I have 4 shelves full of books. So you should be letting me know about your books too.
Definitely.
Very
Belanie,
good.
thank you for being here. I look forward to Friday and getting even deeper into this conversation around mindset. I've been to several Creating Mindsets for Success. I've even ran Creating Mindsets for Success. It's an incredible course, and it talk about taking 4 hours of your life, and if you're thinking you have 4 hours, what can I change in 4 hours?
Yeah, you can't think of that way.
Just show up.
Just show up.
Just show up and just see the result. That's all I can say. You guys are awesome. Amy, just make sure that Belanie gets the link to Friday for the mastermind, and then we'll see you all on Friday. Have an awesome night.
Make me feel better. Bye, guys. Bye, Red. Bye, David. Bye, Annie. Bye, James.